It is time for another top 5 video.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Probably my #1 requested top 5 video to do on rimfires is my top 5 bolt action rifles. In front of me are 5 bolt action 22s. Now these are my top 5. 4 of them you guys can see. One of them you guys will probably think to yourself, why in the world is he picking that one? But we'll get to that here in just a minute. But bolt action rimfires are just fun. You can usually pick, a good used one up for, a couple $100s. You can shoot all day because they're not semi-automatic and you don't have to burn a lot of ammunition. They're accurate, they're fun, and it's a great platform to teach new shooters and young shooters how to shoot. So in front of me, I have my top 5 rimfires, bolt action rifles, and without any further ado, let's get into the video.
Number 1.
We're going to start off with this bad boy. Oh, it weighs a ton. All right, now this is not a review on any of these guns. All these guns I have made videos with. You can go back and look at them. It's pretty much just an overview why I'm picking these specific firearms, okay? So in front of me right here, this is my Vudoo. And maybe you guys have watched the video on it. In my opinion, Vudoo makes the nicest, most accurate 22 LR bolt action gun on the market. With this particular firearm with the right ammunition, I was shooting off camera, of course, I think 0.26 inch groups, 5-shot groups. On camera, I was doing something like 0.4, 0.36, something like that. It's been a while since I watched the video. I can't really remember. But this rifle would just straight out drive tags. It is the most accurate 22 rifle that I own. But that comes with the price. You're looking at about $2,600 for the rifle. And with this Nexus scope on here, you're looking at another $1,400. This base is another $500. The bipod, you're looking at about another $200. So yeah, you can drop $5,000 in one of these guys really, really quick. But this is the most accurate 22 bolt action that I own.
Number 2.
Next on the list, let's go with the Bergara, okay? I recently did a video on this a couple of months ago. This is the B-14. Now, it's on a Remington 700 chassis, just like the Vudoo, and it's pretty accurate. You can expect to get, 0.5, 0.6 inch groups with the right ammunition out of the Bergara. It's a great little trainer rifle. It's hefty. It feels like you're holding a Remington 700, just like the Vudoo. It does very, very well. It shoots a lot of different ammunitions very accurately. And, it's $1,200. It's half the price as the Vudoo. Now, in my opinion, it's not as accurate as the Vudoo, but it's not off by much. And I explained in the video, is that, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 extra dollars for the Vudoo worth it to shrink those groups down from a 0.5 to a 0.3? You've got to make that call. But my second on the list is going to be my Bergara.
Number 3.
Lithgow, or Lithgow, however you pronounce it. I think it's a Lithgow. This is a Lithgow 101. I've had this rifle for several years, and until I shot the Vudoo, this was the most accurate 22 that I own. Lithgow makes some extremely accurate, reliable, smooth bolts. They just make great firearms. The wood's beautiful, the barrel's beautiful. This rifle, will shoot 0.6 all day long at 100 yards with the right ammunition. The only bad thing that I really don't like about the Lithgow, well, it's not that I don't like it, but if I have to pick on something, I'm gonna pick on the trigger. But there are spring kits that you can buy to lighten up the trigger a little bit. But the Lithgow 101, man, it's hard to beat, especially for the price.
Number 4.
Number 4, now we're going old school. You guys haven't seen this rifle on my channel in a long time. This is my CZ452 Ultra Lux. You rimfire guys out there, if I'd made a top 5 bolt action video and I did not mention a CZ, you guys would probably come unglued, because CZ has a very, very loyal following, including myself. CZ makes incredible firearms, especially for the price point. This is an older model. This is the 452 Ultra Lux, hence the really, really long barrel. And they don't make these rifles anymore. I picked this one up probably about 15 years ago. It's been a while since I shot it, but for around $400 or $500, what these things were selling for back then, it was an extremely accurate rifle. It's probably, it would compare to the Lithgow on the accuracy. But the 452 Ultra Lux or even the 455, man, you can't go wrong with a CZ, especially for the price point. You know, the Lithgow, you know, they're about $1,000, $1,100, but you can still pick up a good CZ bolt gun, you know, like a 455 or a 452. You can pick those up for probably about $400 or $500, and you will have a very accurate, reliable bolt action rifle that will actually drive tacks at 50 and 60 yards. If you recall, I was shooting this rifle with Iraq veteran, man, how long ago was that? 7, 8 years ago, testing out the long range accuracy of a 22 LR. There we go.
Good shot, Dave.
That one dropped in there. It takes a while for that bullet to get there, doesn't it?
It sure does, man.
And I was consistently hitting still at 500 yards with this setup, just using, I think, CCI velocitors. I wasn't even using match ammo. So the CZ 452 Ultra Lux, this will always have a place in my collection.
Number 5.
Last but not least, you guys are probably saying to yourself, what in the world is this? This is a Mossberg 346, all right? If you've been around my channel a while, you have seen this bolt action rifle. I used to use this rifle with a lot of my trick shots when I first started the channel because it was the only 22 bolt action that I owned 10 years ago. But I remember buying this at a pawn shop, probably around 2000, 2001. I bought it for 40 bucks and it had a horrible trigger on it, probably about 7.5, 8 pounds. But with a little bit of gunsmithing, I lightened that trigger up to probably about 2 pounds. And this rifle, it just feels great. It's got enough weight to it that it feels like a real rifle, like a centerfire rifle, not like a real rifle, but like a centerfire rifle. The bolt, it's not the smoothest in the world, but it's not bad. But the thing I like about this 22 is that it points so well. And you may notice that there's not a scope on here. I won't put a scope on here because this sight and this small bead front sight, I can pick up on my targets really quickly when I was doing trick shots with them. But this one was my first 22 bolt action rifle that I ever bought. It will never leave my collection, even though it's not worth anything, but it will never leave my collection just because all the rounds that I've put through it, and it kind of takes me back to a special place when I first started my channel 10 years ago, and looking back on some of the trick shots that I used to do with this. So here's my top 5. Now I know there's other great top 5, or there are other great bolt action 22s. You know, you got Savage makes really good ones. Anschutz, you know, I don't own an Anschutz, that's why one's not up here. But, you know, there's other companies that make really good rimfire bolt action rifles. But this has to be my top 5. Guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have those top 5 in your collection and you want to put them in the comments below, go right ahead. You can ask me those questions on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Until next time, y'all be safe and keep linking.